Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. We got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it.
The election is drawing closer, and the Kamala Harris campaign must be in some serious dire straits because a lot of these leftist pundits, a lot of these talking heads in the mainstream media are really starting to worry about her campaign, specifically to do real press, answer questions, and clarify her policy positions. So, of course, that's what we're going to see on today's clips. But before we proceed, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Andrea. And I think they've got to double down on doing more interviews and serious interviews, because when I'm hearing from Democratic and Republican business people and a lot of men, and she's got such a big problem with men. I think there's an undercount of the Trump vote. I think that there's misogynation in all of this, black and white men. Big problem, but also the business world. They don't think she is serious. They don't think she's a heavyweight. And a lot of this is gender, but she's got to be more specific about her economic plans.
Yes, the gender gap between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump support is historically high. However, if you don't support Kamala Harris, it's because of misogyny, right? There's no way a man would ever vote for a woman, right? It just isn't going to happen. Never mind the fact that there's specific policies we tend to be worried about. Like, I don't know, maybe taxing unrealized gains and giving broad amnesty to illegal immigrants, right? Just a couple of policies that are very misogynistic. But of course, there's the business aspect as well. Let's check out Kevin O'Leary giving a good reason as to why many people in the business world don't support Kamala Harris either.
Listen to what Donald Trump had to say about his proposed tax plans. Listen to this.
I delivered you the largest tax cuts in American history, and we'll do it again. We're going to get them lower, but we're going to do something else. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Look, our seniors were devastated by inflation. They don't get rich by this, but we're going to give them back essentially what they lost.
So, Kevin, would that plan deliver for the working class, do you think?
I think it's fantastic to bring these topics up as political rhetoric. But the real big difference between what Harris has now, she dripped out a few policy through her VP recently. So I'm trying to figure out what the big picture is for people to understand between these two tax proposals. In the case of Harris, what she is proposing to the country is, let us pick sectors and we will do tax proposals for them, like the Science and Chips Act did. We're just going to focus on chip manufacturing. We are going to try and pick winners and losers, but there's no evidence the government ever does that. And then we're going to tax everybody at 28% to make every 11 sector of the economy pay for that. The Trump proposals are, I'm not picking winners. I'm just going to drop taxes down below 20% and let everybody fight for share, which generally is how the American economy was successful for 200 years. So you really have to start thinking about, can Kamala Harris pick winners and make you pay for it? Or should you let the market be the market? I think you know where I stand on that.
So this is the big difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris on policy, specifically the policies Kamala Harris hasn't stolen from Donald Trump, is that Donald Trump wants to lower the taxes for everyone. And of course, the left always says he's only interested in lowering taxes for the rich. Yeah, then why did the real wages go up for average Americans $7,000 per year under his presidency, right? That doesn't sound like just a tax cut for the rich to me. But here we have basically Kamala Harris offering tax incentives to businesses, as Kevin O'Leary points out, that will be paid for by other businesses when they raise up the business tax, whereas Donald Trump wants to lower the business taxes for all businesses, which of course will increase jobs in manufacturing, will of course help the economy in general. And not to mention, lowering taxes on every single American across the board is much better than just giving them a tax subsidy to buy houses, all right? Because all that basically means is a wealth transfer, right? You take the tax dollars from here and you shift it over here. So everyone in America is now paying for a few people's new houses, which of course does not increase the economy, okay? And these are the big differences that we're seeing. And these horrible tax policies could be why Kamala Harris and Democrats are losing ground when it comes to voter identification.
Taking a closer look then at the Keystone State, one of the reasons, besides its size, that this is of such interest to Trump and the Republicans, there's a trend here. You're looking at the Trump era. You're looking at party registration in Pennsylvania. And look at this. When Donald Trump first came on the scene, back in 2016, the Democratic advantage in party registration in Pennsylvania was over 900,000 votes. 2020, look now, in 2024, that's been cut almost in 2/3 there, down to about 330,000. There's been a little bit of a boost for Democrats since Kamala Harris took over in registration, but the big picture trend here has been more competitive for Republicans in party registration.
So this is something that's not just true in Pennsylvania. It's actually true in many states across the board. The Democrats are losing voter registrations. People don't want to identify as Democrats. And as we can see here, in just 8 short years, the Democrats have gone from having a 1 million voter advantage in Pennsylvania to having just a 300,000 voter advantage in Pennsylvania. And not to mention, Donald Trump actually won them back in 2016 with that 1 million voter advantage, right? So people don't even want to be associated with Democrats anymore, because Pennsylvania, being a big blue collar worker state that produces a lot of energy that, of course, the Democrats want to go after, they're seeing through the lies that Kamala Harris and the Democrats are telling. Oh, we want to totally shut down oil production and fracking and coal manufacturing. But on the other hand, I have to run for president. So now I'm totally for it. And now I'm going to protect your livelihoods. Okay. People just aren't buying into it.
Are you confident Harris can win Michigan?
Well, if I listen to you and Harry, I think she ought to quit. Okay? I mean, I just never seen anything like the piling on about, well, she's behind in Union household, she's behind in Dearborn, she's behind here, there, she's behind everywhere. I'll go ahead and make a prediction. If there's 7 swing states, the least likely outcome is they break 4-3. But it's also, Jake, a gospel rule that every piece of information has to be interpreted in the most negative light for Democrats. But I don't know if she's behind in everything. Why is she ahead? Maybe I'm just too stupid and not sophisticated enough to figure this out. But I don't think she ought to quit. I think she ought to play through Election Day.
Well, no one's suggesting that she quit, but she does have challenges in Michigan.
Listen to the segment, it sounds like she should.
I'm hearing from top Democrats today who say that they're worried about Michigan. They're not saying they're giving up. They're saying they got,
So James Carville actually makes an excellent point there, although he might not realize it, right? If Kamala Harris is losing ground with the working class, losing ground with the union members, losing ground with black voters, Hispanic voters, right? The 18 to 30s, right? If she's losing ground with all these groups, why is she still ahead? Why do the polls have her ahead, right? And that's exactly my point. It doesn't make any sense, does it? We see a few polls coming out that show Donald Trump is up, but a mass average of polls all saying that Kamala Harris is just trouncing him, even though when you look at their subtext, the crosstabs, as I like to say, Donald Trump is leading on so many issues and Kamala Harris is losing so much support compared to Joe Biden's 2020 run. So yes, something doesn't quite smell right, does it? And as I always mention, the polls will have to start reflecting the truth the closer we get to Election Day, and the whole cycle for that got reset very recently because Kamala Harris had the ousting of Joe Biden. Okay, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.